Welcome back to the Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have on the wonderful Awiza, better known to me as Northwest Tracker. I believe that's her channel. We're going to make sure that we get her channel promoted today. A little bit of a little bit of a background. She's been on my show many times as somebody in the chat rooms, and she kept having so much insight into the forest people, as she calls them, and we had a little bit of correspondence. It's been very, quite a trying situation to try to get her on the show, and she still can't get her camera to work, but that's not important. We're going to plow through. It's so important to have her on because she has a wealth of knowledge that I think everyone should know about before it's gone. Okay, so if you keep finding yourself coming back to the Jupiter podcast, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and become a member and get yourself some content earlier. And if you're also over on the MP3 side, please do me a favor and as well go leave me a rating, download some episodes, and that way you can listen to all my wonderful guests that I've had on the show and all their incredible experiences and encounters. That way you can listen to it while you're at work or on the go. Okay, so with all the homework out of the way, with all the work that I have to do out of the way, please welcome to the show, Awiza.
Afternoon, everyone. Well, actually, evening. And thank you for having me on.
Wow, was that in your native tongue?
Aho would be an easy way of saying hi.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't know if you heard me speaking in the background there because I'm not used to without video, but
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
okay, great. And I've been trying to get you on the show for quite a while now, and it's been difficult. Where not all of us are. Even myself is not technologically inclined as others, and I'm finally able to get you on the show, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, me too. It's been interesting speaking with you in the few past months here.
Yes, we've had quite a bit of correspondence. You're always, I would say, always, on the Jupiter Live that we have on Fridays, and you kept, every time I'm interviewing somebody, you're like, oh, this information and that information. And did you know this time? Did you know that time? And you actually have sent me some pictures that I hope in the future that I'll be able to pull up once I upgrade my computer here because it just can't handle the processing of it at the moment. And yeah, and finally, I got you on the show, and I am so very excited that you're here. So please tell me a little bit about yourself, Awiza. Tell me a little bit about your channel, and if you're promoting anything, please.
Well, my background is I was born here in the Northwest. I'm a native of Oregon. I was born in Hillsborough County, up south of Portland. I was raised on a 15-acre ranch, mink ranch, actually. And my father was Russian, German, Mongolian descent mostly. My mom was Native American and European. And my native grandmother on my mother's side was the individual that taught me a lot of the lore. But my father, because he and his family had been trappers all the way up into Canada, they trapped in the Okanagan when he was a child. They lived there when he was 2, 3, 4 years old. So that was up in early 1920s. So they'd collected a lot of lore and had experiences up there. And my birth was a little unique. I was born in 2 birth sacks. It happens one female in every generation since Awiza was born. That was the founding medicine person that initially started keeping this lore and protecting it because it was made illegal back in the mid 1800s for Native Americans to speak our language, practice our religion, or live our lifestyle and keep our lore. So she chose to go renegade and keep the lore instead of going to the reservation.
Okay.
And that's how our lore was preserved.
Okay. So could you tell me maybe a little bit about your people and a little bit about the lore that has been passed down to you and what you have done with it?
Well, on my mother's side, we are Lakota Hunkpapa clan. Means we're part of the same band as Sitting Bull.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Awiza was half relation to him, actually. They had 5 years apart. She was born in 1832, so He was born just 5 years before her, so I think.
Okay. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your, like, the beginnings of you, because you were telling me, I mean, I'm kind of gleaning from the, our correspondence that we've been having, that you are the last, if that's correct, of your kind that has done any type of rites of passage, following your native blood, or are you the last one of your kind to do it?
Yeah, I'm the last one, and I was the only one that was. Oh, wow. My rite of passage, my turnout was delayed until I was 15. We waited for the law to be changed, so it was legal for me to go on my adult rite of passage. I did it 1 year after the law was allowing it again. See, we had to go through what was it called, the Native American Religious Act in 1978. So my
Wow.
adult rite of passage was held off until I was 15, 1979.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about that. What is the purpose behind the rite of passage, and what kind of value does it hold within your tradition?
Well, we kind of got to back up a little bit for that because this has a lot to do with the way I was born. Each generation, one medicine person is chosen out of the family. It's a female, always has been for the last 5 generations. We're born in a double birth sac, and we are claimed to be 1 foot in each world. So we can walk between worlds, is what is believed about us.
Okay, so okay, to a Westerner, because you're a Westerner as well, as well, of course. But what is a medicine woman? What does that entail? What does that mean?
Well, it means that you have not only the responsibility of understanding the lore, keeping the knowledge, and understanding cures, poisons, food sources, that sort of thing. You also have to be a psychic battler for your family or your tribe.
Wow,
So
wow,
you
wow.
learn medicine to fight.
Um, I've heard about it, and there's still certain tribes in Africa that still do it, and there's also certain tribes in South America that does it. Um, so it's a 12-month ordeal. How does it start out? Is there like some type of ceremony, or how does that go?
Well, what I went through is we went to a hereditary area down here in the valley. I did a sweat that my mom conducted, and that was a couple of weeks before I went on my turnout. Then we returned home because we were living in Central Oregon, so I did my turnout in the high desert.
Okay, wow. So what does the turnout entail? Is it you by yourself? Are you supposed to do certain things, or is it like a
Oh, yeah.
journey? What is it exactly?
So my training started in March. My mom's first, we walked a 10-mile loop that she wanted me to collect food on and trap and hunt on, but I had to earn each step. So we did a 10-mile hike. We took 1 canteen of water with us. She said, by the end of this, in 3 months, you will be running this with a rock in your mouth. And you will
Wow.
have to collect the food. Here's your bag. This is what you're going to put your food in. You got to bring that home every night, or you stay out in the wilderness.
Wow. And you did this with your mother?
Not after the first 3 months of training. She walked me through the process, taught me how to forage on the run. Like you can collect grain, berries, whatever, stab the head off of an asparagus as you're trotting along. You put that in your bag or you eat it, then you get to your stop point where you got like a lot of grain or you got roots that you can collect. You sit down, you collect, you put that in your bag. After you clean it, you go to the next point.
Okay. Oh, before we get too far into this, what is the name of your channel and where can people find it?
Oh, my channel is Northwest Native Tracker, and I've got a YouTube channel up under that title. I have videos, some lives. I've got a lot of screenshot posts in my post section of, cryptids I captured this past summer.
Okay. Now, talking about cryptids, so you started encountering them while doing your turnout, as you called it. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, my location had been chosen very particularly to place me in the middle of 3 cryptid groups. One group of Yaren, which are large, red-haired primate people. They look a lot like orangutans. They're friendly. I can trade with them. I could hunt around them. They'd watch me, yada yada. The other two groups, one was down around the point. My mother showed me that group, explained to me that was sun-based people. I understood from my grandmother's teachings they were dangerous, don't accept help from them, and they will try to lure you into making mistakes. And then on the opposite ridge line and behind it, there was scrub brush, old ancient scrub brush that had another group of sun-faced people back in there. But those cryptids are about 12 to 15 feet tall, and they are really scary.
Okay, so out of the three, there was one that you could work with, only one.
And that's the location where if I stayed out at night, it was in the bubble caves in that region where my mother said it was safer to be because they wouldn't hurt me at night and they would defend me against the other two groups.
Wow, wow. Okay, walk us into when you go out. Did this happen when you went out by yourself, or before your mother, or after the 3 months?
No, that was at the end of my training, the first 3 months, teaching me how to forage the correct way and where to set my traps and where to collect things. Then my mom introduced me and showed me in the land lay and showed me the ground evidence, ground spore of the different cryptid groups I was expected to live in amongst. And she said, "You're going to have to live here. You're going to have to learn how to trade. You're going to have to learn how to avoid these things. You're going to have to learn how to avoid their traps and still get everything that we need."
Wow. So, what was your walk us into your first encounter with the friendly group, or did you encounter all three of them, or just the one?
Oh no, I encountered all three over the course of the 7 or so months, maybe 10 months that I was out.
Okay.
My
Okay. Yeah, please. I'm sorry.
So there was a little bubble cave, and somewhere I got a picture. My mom took a picture of me in the bubble cave. My mom put an upside down pine tree cutting at the mouth of it, and that's a really ancient bird weir. So these upside down planted trees with the little brush cover, you
Yeah.
throw seed under there and let the birds come in. You can hit them with a rock, dart them, or just grab them if you're quick enough. And
So,
that's
oh,
rudimentary
so-
hand foraging trap.
oh, that's interesting. So you take a pine tree, so then therefore the branches are then in reverse, I'd imagine,
Yeah, they're inverted, so they make an upside down basket when you plant
and
that
so
same
they kind of
flower.
fall into it, and then you go ahead and then take them out.
Yeah, they'll get confused on how to get out. You can even put some grass or something to make them a little more obscured on their escape point. You watch how they come in and out, and then you block it so they have to divert and you catch them.
Okay, all right. So you put this tree at the beginning, at the entrance of the cave, better said. And then what
Yeah.
happened? What started to happen? How was the encounter with these people?
Well, the second night I was sleeping in the little bubble cave, and I hadn't had any success in catching a bird. Uh, I was left a bird. I'd heard something come down, and I realized, footsteps. It was bipedal walking. I realized they were examining my trap, and the individual left me a bird because I hadn't caught anything in 2 days.
Wow,
So
wow.
he was watching me.
Okay, and then how did the relationship continue?
Well, the following day I was able to get some game, so he left a kana, what you call a glyph down, letting me know his name was Cedar Eagle.
Okay, okay, yes.
And then within a week or two, I started seeing him. I'd notice him up on the cliffs. He'd be watching me. He'd sun himself on some of the big flat rocks occasionally. And he'd be watching me. He'd get up above the ridgeline I was near to, and he'd look down and watch me when I was foraging.
You said they looked like they were like red haired, like orangutan. Like what else? What else about them is distinct? If you when you've seen them.
Well, he was still pretty young because he was only about 6.5 feet tall. So he still had pale skin like we have. He hadn't tanned or grayed, and his hair was really, really sparse, though it was really long, like probably 4 inches, 5 inch long, you know, red body hair all over him. very humanoid looking face, but kind of a more elongated in the jaw area.
Okay.
And
Wow.
you could have mistaken him for, just a hairy human if you didn't realize he was something else.
Something else. Okay. Did you end up having any type of like communication with them other than them leaving you gifts and or helping you out, better said, and keeping an eye on you? Did the interaction increase or what happened?
Well, I maintained a good relationship with that one, though it was always distant. He never let me see him closer than about 30 feet.
Okay.
But I did have a really bad interaction one day because I had to shift locations where I was camping for the winter. I went out into the more flat desert so I could build an igloo. And when I started exploring that area, the sun-faced people over there started robbing me of my game.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um,
And did the other ones then protect you, or were they also? I can't remember the names. I'm sorry. The
oh no,
sun.
the first group had also had a bad interaction. One of their females had been molested by the sun-faced people, and it was kind of
Okay.
in the
Okay.
borderland between the two groups.
I'm gonna have to
I
write that
found it.
down. I'm gonna have to write that word down. We can't say that word.
Oh, my bad.
No worries, no worries. I'll take care of it. It's not a problem. I just got to
Mhm.
write down a little timestamp so it's easier for me to find. No, that's not a
Sorry.
problem. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Trust me. We can't be perfect, and supposedly we're American. We have freedom of speech, but I guess not. But whatever. We can't talk about real stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah, you know a little bit about me. So you're always on my show. You're always like not on the show. This is the first time you're on, of course, but like you've always been around the on the chat when I do my lives. I mean, how did you like come across the show? What made you continue to come back and be a very helpful member of the show?
Well, because I'm kind of approaching the subject of Bigfoot from a different perspective than most people, it's been kind of difficult to get my message out and find people that are actually interested in understanding them that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever I find an avenue that seems more receptive or that is interested in actually sharing knowledge, which is kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't have anybody to teach this to. There's no other person in my family that can inherit it. And my grandmother's last wish was if it came to it, I would share it publicly in some way. And that's
Oh
why I started my
wow.
channel.
Oh wow.
That's why
Okay.
I keep persisting.
Okay, and then, so you come on the show to share your knowledge and your wisdom, and to have people to expand the channel. That way, people can like look at it from the perspective, which I mostly agree with. I've heard some bad interactions, but I believe you'll have something to add to that. There's so much knowledge. This is not, we're only 20 minutes in. This is only the one of many times I hope that you will be returning, because I'm sure questions will arise as we go through this, and
Oh,
things will
definitely.
arise that I've never heard before, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking into it. So, like, please continue. So, you went on the high desert plains and you built an igloo. How does I mean? Maybe I'm unaware, but isn't an igloo made out of like snow and ice?
Oh, yeah. Well, you get 3 foot drifts to 6 foot drifts over there in the winter. And it
Okay, I'm
starts
sorry.
around October.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I hear when people hear desert, they're thinking hot, but okay.
Oh no,
So
this summer you're scorching. I think I was in 117-degree weather that summer, the summer before, and then around the winter was like 17 or 27 below or some crazy thing.
oh wow, so you get the full range of it, and
Oh
you go
yeah,
out.
because
Did you go out there and being as cold and as hot as it is? What did you? I mean, it's a really silly question because I just don't know. Um, did you take like changes of clothes, or how did you deal with that?
well, igloos are built very specific ways in order to insulate you, keep you from the wind. And if you build them correctly, a very small little fire inside will keep you toasty warm if you know what you're doing because you got like a little platform that you rest on next to your fire.
Oh, the heat
You lay a,
rises, right?
yeah, you lay a layer down, then you make sure you're in your 30 below gear, which is what I was in. I had a really nice sort of low degree, sleeping bag, and you know,
Okay. And you did all this when you were 15?
yeah, I did most of it through the summer, but even while I was training and still out during winter, I was still going to school. I'd get
Right.
up and
Okay.
go to school and then go right back out to my turnout when I got home.
Okay. 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 So, all right. Tell me what happened. So, I mean, what did you start to recognize or learn about the people? What happened? You just kept, you went through the turnout and then you just continued back, or is there more to tell about
Well,
your interactions during the turnout?
with the sun-based people, they not only started stealing my game from my traps, I shifted up and I made a little cedar bow with 3 arrows to hunt rabbit with. And I didn't have that thing made maybe 3 or 4 days. And one of the sun people, I was taking a nap. It was still pretty warm out. And he tried to steal my weapon, my tool. And then the second time he came up, later, 20 minutes or so later, he did take it while I was napping in the shade. And he took it down over the ridge line and put it down in the stream. And, I'd have to go down about 30 feet to get it in the stream. And then beyond was marsh. And then the river over, 200 feet in front of me.
Holy
So,
crap.
yeah, he set me up to have to retrieve my tool. And when I got down into it, down into that little bit of a ravine, ridgeline area, he was up on the ridgeline behind me. Swung
Okay.
his hand out. Hey, you need help? Plain English, you need help? I give you a hand.
Oh
Like,
my God.
oh, no.
Oh, he said that?
Mm-hmm. They look basically like a hairy human. A
Oh
little
my
weak
God.
in the chin, but
That might
and
have been the
pale skin.
scariest thing I've ever heard in my life. I swear, I almost just jumped out of my skin. That
Yeah,
was
right.
that was incredibly scary.
My grandmother's words echoed back through my mind in that second. She said, when I was 10 and we were around the kitchen table and she was teaching me lore, she said, if a sun-faced person ever steals something from you or compromises you into a low position and offers you a hand to get out of the ravine or wherever you're at, don't take it. They will hang on to you. They will take you back to their camp. They will enslave you,
Okay.
and then they may eat you.
Whoa.
So I
Whoa.
didn't take his hand. I picked up my bow and 3 arrows, and I said, "Oh, you like, huh?" Shakes his head, yes. I says, "Oh, good trade, good trade." I put it back where I found it, and I went through the marsh to get away from him.
Holy shit, dude. How terrifying was that for you?
Pretty terrifying because he followed me along the ridgeline, and then the Aaron that I'd been trading with, he blockaded him on the ridgeline and stood guard over me basically, so I could get across the rest of the marsh. I was up to my chest trying to get out of there.
Holy crap. What did you trade with the other group? What was it that you were trading with them?
Usually food, sometimes tools, but usually food.
Okay. Okay. So these the sun face people you call them?
Mm-hmm.
And they are like a trickster kind of okay, so like they have a little bit of like a weird evilness to them or something.
Yeah, they're kind of like if you remember the kid in high school that was always the bully and would trick you into stuff and then compromise you. They
Yeah.
have that kind of mentality to them. They're
That's
really cunning.
they're really it's very terrifying. What about the other one? What's the third group, the large ones that are very aggressive? Did you were you lucky and not see them?
Oh, when I was trying to get a better look at the more human-sized sun-faced people, because they don't usually get too big. I went up on the other point, across the river, which is probably 1,000 feet or so I could look down and see their living area because they had structures that they lived in, the smaller sun-faced people. And while I was up on that ridge line, I was watching for mountain goats because there were a lot of mountain goat up there, and a billy goat will bunt you off the side of a cliff before you think about it. So I always made sure I was up a little higher, and that day I had to be down a little lower to see. And I heard something behind me. I thought it was one of the billy goats. It was wild up there. No. It was one of these fucking pardon my French. It was one of those really large sun-faced people. He was sitting on a rock behind me, by maybe 80, 85 feet behind me. I turned around and I contemplated if I'd survived jumping off the cliff.
All right. It's what's really interesting about it. I got to be completely honest with you. Is the easy, like, even though it's, for me it sounds completely terrifying, but for you, being, how are you able to deal with that? It seems so, to put it mildly and maybe somewhat rudely, nonchalant. Like you're taking it so well, telling me.
Well, I've had actually quite a long history of being around these things. Between 1968 and 1973, we had a Oma Bigfoot female that moved on to our mink ranch. And
What's her name? Oma.
Yeah,
Oma?
her tribal group is called Oma.
That's interesting. That's the German word for Oma is grandmother.
Yeah. Oma is also called mother in Native American. Mother.
That's interesting. That's interesting. That's a hopefully that's just a, what I call it, a coincidence. I don't know, because
no, probably not, because the Asiatic languages Oma also means mother.
Wow. And like I said, and it's mama, muta, and then so grandma, but grandmother is Oma. That's interesting. That's interesting. Wow. Weird tie.
Yeah, my native grandmother always called them the mother species, our grandmothers.
The mother species. What meaning? Meaning that they're the originals or the first?
Well, she had an old Lakota lore story from our family that first Sioux people came about because of a dog man mating with an Oma woman, and the child that they threw was a hairless human being.
Whoa. So we're dog men? Partially?
Supposedly. I mean, the other Lakota lore is that there was a big flood. A native woman saved herself in a boat, and a horned serpent deity mated with her to create mankind over again. Those are the two Lakota lores that I'm aware of.
Whoa. That is incredible. That is incredible. It's really interesting too that in every one of these, old origin stories, or somewhere's within this, the lore of the tribes and the native people, there's always a flood story in there too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, well, we did have into the driest period, we were hit by a bunch of asteroids, and there's actually a 3-foot 3-foot layer thick of calcium carbonate all over the west coast where the asteroids blew and just layered everything with ash.
Oh, you're talking about maybe Randall Carlson's work.
Yeah, into the Younger Dryas period, the theory that we were hit with asteroids, and we've actually found impacts. They've tracked the impacts. Most of them hit the Pacific, some hit the East Coast, and then the remaining plume of asteroids hit Britain.
I'm trying to cut this out. There's some noise in the background. They're spraying some stuff for mosquitoes. It's the time for dengue fever. So here in the tropics, they're spraying mosquito spray, and I'm glad I'm not outside breathing that in, because I had it one time. It's pretty nasty stuff.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they get just to do that. I'd rather have the dengue fever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's natural. You know what I mean? It might suck for 4 days, and you can get it as many times as you want, but at least I'm not inhaling whatever that is. Oh my God. Yeah. Crazy.
When I was taken to do my sweat before my turnout, my mother took me to a piece of bedrock that is 300 million years old. And she showed me the petrified handprint and footprint of the dogman, the Oma woman who was our mother, and the child's footprints in the bedrock petrified.
Okay, have you?
Of that.
Yes, I would. Whenever you get a chance, please send me that picture. God, please send me a picture of that.
I did a video about that location and that story, and it's
on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go check that out, guys, because I'm going to check it out right after this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's incredible. It's so incredible. Like, for you, this is your life. We're talking about your life. And so for you, it's your life. But for
Yeah.
outsiders like myself, it's fascinating. At least for me. I hope you guys are fascinated too. I'm talking to the audience. But okay,
No.
so this thing scared you on on the ridge line there when you were up above trying to look at their habitation. And what
Oh yeah.
happened then after that?
Well, I froze because I'm like, do I jump? Do I try to go past him? Do I wait? And he was maybe he looked at me for 30, 40 seconds, and then he just kind of and he stood up, and that's when I realized he was like 15 feet tall. And he kind of went down the other side of the ridge line a little bit, and then he just jumped. He jumped off the side of the flipping cliff. It's a 240-foot drop there. I ran over to see him hit. He hit on the side and then just booked it
Whoa.
into the brush.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I'm never going to survive if that thing falls on me.
I'm telling you right now, this is a movie. This is a freaking movie. It is one of the best. It is one of the most believable, but fascinating and wild stories I think I've ever heard. And what I mean by story, from my end, from your end, this is your life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it's sort of like a soldier trying to tell about what they find and hear and feel and know in the field.
Right.
There
you
is
go.
no way to say it, man.
No, you have to kind of feel it and be there. You can imagine, but it's not the same.
Right, and that's what I'm hoping to do with the way I'm trying to document and my lore and the stuff about it and cryptids is to try to build a point of reference for people so they can actually kind of see through my eyes.
Now, this is not to say this is happening. It's just a question. I know that a lot of South American tribes, when it comes to their medicine men, they use medications and plant medications that one would call maybe psychedelic. Is any of that involved within your lore?
I did have great aunts that took up certain types of medicine within the family that required that sort of thing.
Okay.
But that was not my particular path. My path was to learn how to be a dog soldier and a medicine person, to be a guard for the lore.
Holy crap!
Where they were taught to heal and protect in a different way.
Okay. Is there anybody left in your tribe, in your family group?
Well, I have some cousins left, a niece and a nephew, but I'm the last one that's a direct line.
Okay. Now, when you tell these family members or anybody around that area, what do they tell? What kind of responses are you getting?
Oh no! We never spoke about any of this inside the family. Only one of my sisters knew. And I only recently discovered that she knew anything about it. And we were in a situation where we had to use our old native sign language to talk because there were too many people listening to us. And that's when she told me she understood I had been trained this way.
Oh my God. You have your own sign language?
Well, it's native talking language. It's native sign, hand talking. But it's not used anymore. People don't even know it.
You should definitely record that. Everything you know.
Well, there's been some recordings. 1930, I think it was. There was a Native American hand talking convention that was recorded by the Native Council, VIA, in cooperation with the American military. And two of my great aunts attended that conference, and it was all recorded and filmed. And I put it up in one of my playlists, Understanding the Back History, because it's got a lot of interesting information on it. It was the first time the American government recognized that Native American languages had Asiatic connection, and that the sign language had its own particular elements within different tribes, but it was all a unilateral trade language.
Holy crap, dude. I'm learning so much because what people don't understand, like a lot of people who are in America just simply don't understand that when they see Mexico or South American countries, they just think they're brown people or something, you know? But it's not quite that. They're also Native Americans. They really
Oh,
are.
yeah.
It's exactly
You,
what they are.
well, you can count from the tip of the Southern Horn all the way to Alaska. We're Native American.
Right.
Doesn't matter what boundary or name you slapped on it. We've been here
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend she's a Mayan, which is also a Native American, but in its
Mhm.
own way. And the cool thing is here is a lot of the culture is still preserved. We're quite
Right?
lucky. She's quite lucky actually. Everybody, the whole world is quite lucky to have their language that's still here and alive. A lot of people speak it. There's a lot of there's a lot to be still happy about down here about that, but it is slowly disappearing.
Well, and that's coming to be true for a lot of Native American languages and cultures. I mean, Abenaki, which is one of the most common languages that cryptids speak, other than like Edo period Japanese or Zhao period Chinese, because those are the three most common languages other than English that most cryptids here in the Northwest speak. Abenaki's only got like 200, maybe 300 speakers left.
It's an actual language that humans speak too.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. All right. Now this is incredible. This is incredible. I mean, I feel like I'm having an out of body experience. Honestly, I've never heard anything I don't know anything about this. This for me is. I knew it was going to be incredible. Let's put it that way. I knew it, but I wasn't quite prepared for it as much as I thought I was, at least emotionally. Which is
Well,
good. It's a good thing. I'm serious. It's amazing. I feel honored that you would even tell me any of this. Another okay. What would other than other people speaking their languages as well, and then them with their stories of creation? What would you say to the average Joe that would be surprising about these forest people?
that they are far more like us than any other animal or primate on this planet. Their psychology is far more human than it is anything else.
Wow. So what did they think about us?
Well, I took a picture of a dog man after I asked him what he thought of humans and people, and he was flying the bird at me. I don't think they
Oh,
like us for the
I,
most part.
I don't think they like us, huh? Okay.
Well, we have a lot of negative things. You know, we if we do encounter, we panic,
Yes. Yeah.
or we try to hunt them. You know,
Yes. Yes. I've
so
heard of things. I've heard of things for sure. For
oh yeah,
sure. Really bad things. Um
yeah, me
so
too.
yeah, so you've had direct communication with them? Have you been able to talk with them somehow or anything like that?
Most of the time when I'm out these days, they like to stay really secluded, so they'll speak from behind a bush somewhere, but it's always 15, 20 feet away. If I get really lucky, like back in the 80s, there was a family group of Oma that'll let me get really close, and I used to sit with their elder female until it was discovered that I was associating with her, and she was shot for being too close to people.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Shot by who?
rangers, because she was
So
in a public park area.
whoa, so the park rangers know about them?
Oh yeah, I've watched park rangers eliminate ground spore, cover up ground spore, lie about ground spore.
Okay. And this is no okay, is this like known throughout like the National Park Service that these things exist?
Oh yeah. If you've got anything attached to the Army Corps of Engineers, they know.
Okay, and why do you think okay, if what is the reason why the secrecy? What is the secrecy behind it? What's the purpose?
Would you like to admit that you're still invading a land that's occupied by original inhabitants?
Mm.
That would really mess up our legalese here, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah. And we're not talking about Native Americans. We're talking about them, correct?
Correct. Because if they are as human as we are and able to speak, there's a good chance their genetics are much like us. Because there's been lots of lore about different kinds of cryptids that can crossbreed with us and children that have been born both native and internationally. There's lots to suggest that. So there's potentially their cousin species. They might be more archaic form of a human.
Right. Right.
For all we know, there's some variant of a Neanderthal or a Denisovan or a Robustus or some other ancient humanoid we haven't even found yet.
Denisovan. Right.
Yeah.
Denisovan. Right. That is incredible. Okay, so this is real then. All right. All right. What are their plans? Just to live, or are they planning? Are they like, because I don't know if it's because of shows like these, or they're showing themselves more, or there's more of them. Or do you think there's some type of intention behind them maybe being more seen or more recognized or more known?
Well, I would venture to guess this because of the ones that have been friendly enough to speak a little bit. It's almost as if they would like to be recognized not for the monsters that people presume them to be,
Okay.
because I think they're probably tired of having of being in the situation they're in. They're stuck in limbo land. They're stuck on federal land with
Uh-huh.
everybody thinking they're a fictional monster, whereby they can continually be abused by the people that know about them. They can be hunted, they can be poisoned, they can be their food sources can be eliminated, they can be harassed. If they show themselves and build a relationship with the general populace,
Yeah.
that will decrease and their overall ability to survive will get better.
Okay. The reason I asked the question is because, as far as I've heard from other experiencers, is basically if they don't want to be seen, they won't be seen.
True, unless you know how to look for them.
Okay. Okay. So
Just
what can you tell us about that?
well, let's do a comparison. I put up a picture of a gorilla sitting under a bush, and I put up a picture of a Bigfoot sitting under the bush. Bigfoot conceals himself slightly better. Also did a comparison picture with a bear. It's the location they pick. They'll sit in a bowl, they'll sit up under, they'll sit at a partition line in between like brush, scrub, and forest. They'll be in an open spot standing next to a tree. They'll be along a creek bed up underneath the bush, sitting between pair of logs, etc. You just have to know where to look.
Okay.
Like any animal, like any person.
Okay. Now, these might be ignorant questions. I always make sure I'm prefacing this with that. But you hear a lot about their abilities. What can you say to their abilities?
Well, if the things that Jen did, the Bigfoot on our property are any indication, because she'd meditate during the afternoon. She'd, for about an hour, she'd sit and hum and meditate, and she'd look like almost like a piece of cellophane, like you could look through her. And when I'd ask her, what are you doing? She says, I'm trying to be light. I don't want to be seen. I'm trying to be light. I'm meditating to be light.
Oh, so they can, for the lack of a better word, they can make themselves invisible. But I've heard of that before. I've heard of certain monks in certain parts of Tibet or what have you, that are able to meditate and make themselves disappear, or meditate and levitate. So basically, they have the same powers that we have. We just forgot or don't know how to do them anymore.
Correct. Exactly. I think they're still in tune with that aspect of their being.
Okay, I don't think they can hide it much longer. The government. I mean, I think UFOs is just the beginning. This whole soft, whatever they're trying to do to slowly bring it out. I think this is the next one. This is the next one.
It's going to have to be, because look at how many blockades we're discovering once we actually examine human DNA. We've discovered 3 new species of Neanderthals, another species of Denisovan, and we have 1 or 2, 3 now little arms that go off onto the tree that we got a parent there, but we don't know who it is. Just our exploration of human DNA is going to have to bring this info forward at some point.
Right. Right, because what people don't realize is that first of all, this is an entertainment show, guys.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't realize is that science, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it has been corrupted by greed,
Mm-hmm.
and it has now become your new religion. But it definitely holds sway in a lot of things. But if they don't want it to come out, they won't let it come out because of certain powers that be. But
Right. And
eventually
eventually,
the dam gets cracked and then it all comes out.
well, and they're it's gotten to such a point now with some of this automated send your DNA in. I have run across 3 different people in this location alone that have unknown DNA in their backgrounds. Some of them upwards of 12%.
Oh my god!
I have 7% unknown DNA.
And you did that online?
No, my DNA was actually run by my father through the same facility that I run, that we run would run our mink DNA samples through because
Okay.
when my dad found out that we had lore saying that a Weiss's father was a wild man, a Bigfoot, and that her mother was a half breed,
Wow.
Dad had to
Oh,
know.
oh wow. Because I mean, I'm aware that, for example, like Europeans, we have, I think something like less than 1% or something like 0.5%, or if I'm, it might be, I think it's up to like even 2 or 3% Neanderthal in us because we are slightly different, than Native Americans. I mean, I
Yeah.
live here. I'm such a tall, I look different. Everything about me is different looking, and
Mm-hmm.
people they take it as being quite intimidating because I walk around in the normal streets of Mexico, unlike certain Americans who live behind the gates, and that difference is very visible. And it's not just a. I don't know if it's just if it's a genetics thing or a passage of time thing, but that the whole 7% being unknown, and you have people in your tribe up to what did you say, up to 30%?
Yeah, in the past, but that's been decreasing over the years. That we've been crossbreeding with more modern humans. But yeah, some of our ancient warriors were even like Red Cloud. He was nicknamed Scaresy's horse because he would go sit with the Bigfoot that were his relatives. He was supposedly a half breed himself. When he'd come out of the woods, all the horses would spit because he had Bigfoot scent on him.
So, whoa. So you're saying that it's possible that even within you, some of this exists.
No, oh yeah, I have a functional tap of the lucidum in my eyes I shouldn't have.
Oh shit. Okay. What about the rest of the world? It's not. I know you know about North America, but what about like Asia, Africa, the steppe? What about that? Was there also possibly some interbreeding going on between modern
Oh
humans that
yeah.
came out of Africa?
Well, I would say definitely in the steppes because my father also ran his DNA because he had family lore that they had Yeti in their background or something called the Boro tribe. They had Bigfoot, but it was further generations back than my mother's. And he actually
Oh,
had like 2.9% unknown DNA, but they could identify part of it as being Homo longi, which is now an ancient humanoid that we've discovered classified.
oh, right. Well, the Asian steppe, which is in the middle of the continent, around I would say like the whatever those mountains are called. It's the Caucasus Mountains. It might be the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah, it's Caucasus, Georgia, up in the
Right.
Lapland area,
Yeah.
all the way down.
Azerbaijan, all of that. Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And that from there, if you go, they went. Some people went to the right towards Asia, and some of them went to the left, or excuse me, to the west, east. And some went to the west to be what is now called Europe. So
Mhm.
wow. So that's very possible that somewhere's deep down inside of all of us, we have some of this, these other bloodlines in us.
Well, that would probably answer a lot of questions once we get down to it.
It probably would. It probably would because maybe that'll answer some of the questions about maybe why some people see them and other people don't.
Well, I think I think a good portion of that is how to explain this and not be rude about it. So until you are in the field and you have to survive next to something, you don't become aware of it.
Oh, dummies.
Well, you're taking a city kid and expecting them to go tracking, and they don't know the first thing about tracking or locating even a deer in the woods. So, how are you going to figure out how to find a cryptid that's sitting 15 feet away from you?
Especially when they were able to, like, well, for the modern word would be cloak. That's incredible. That's incredible. So do you think that they were meditating before, say, Eastern mysticism was meditating? What would you guess?
I would assume so because of some of the unusual stories that the Bigfoot told me. Like, she talked about when I asked her, I was like 7, and I asked her where she came from, where she thought she came from as a species, and she said the Great Pollywog Pond. A time when the Earth was covered with water and there was only sea life here. She said that's where we all come from. So they still have lore.
That goes all the way back. That goes all the way back before we crawled on land.
Uh-huh. So I kind of want to know the rest of their lore personally. I want to know what they know.
Okay. Are you still maintaining contact with them? We're going to get into it more later, of course, but I just want to kind of maybe preempt the next time you come on. Are you still in contact with them?
Well, Jinjin and Guanch, the two that adopted me, I saw them last when I was about 10, 9 or 10, and then in 2001, I'd moved to Washington. My mom gave me a call and she said that our Bigfoot family had moved 157 miles to where she had moved to finally, found her, and had reestablished communication by writing kana on the ground. And then I didn't take her at her word. I didn't come home for another 11 years. And I was briefly a caretaker at my mother's home for my sister a couple of years ago. And I started noticing the kana outside the door, and I'm like, I read it, and first question was the introduction. Ara, which was a person's name, means brings rain, and asking where grandma was. So I knew it was my adopted brother that I've never met.
Wow.
And I had to lay down in kana that grandma had passed. She wasn't with us anymore. And then the next kana he laid down was telling me I was an auntie. I have 2 Bigfoot niece and nephew. I got a video of them. I took pictures of them, and that's posted as well.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and just slowly wrap this up. It's just kind of an introduction to your experiences, why they happen, and kind of a couple questions in there because it's a lot to take in.
I know. Sorry.
No, it is not. No, isn't no. The fault is all on my side. I promise.
Well, I got one other thing to say, if I may.
Sure.
If everybody who thinks that they are predators believe that they are a predator species, how is it that all these researchers don't get eaten?
How do all these researchers what?
Don't get eaten.
All the researchers don't get eaten if they're a predator. Oh, are you saying they're being protected?
Well, I'm saying either the thing that they're going in after isn't as predatory as they think.
Oh, you mean Bigfoot researchers? Why aren't they being heard? No,
being heard if they're such a predator.
Well, I did have a gentleman say that he marked the ground around his. He built a tent up in the woods and he marked the ground to pee around, and they got very angry with him, and they reached for him and ripped the back of his shirt off. So,
well, yeah, because that's an insult,
right? And he said, "Trust me, he told me this particular place in West Virginia. He said the dogs there's nobody had dogs out. There was no wild cats out. There was the only thing that was out was birds. There's no deer there. There's no nothing there. Squirrels that run around, nothing in this place. So, yeah, they must have really, really made him angry. Yeah, it's been incredible, and this has been incredible. This has been one of those episodes that opened my heart a little bit more, honestly.
awesome.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Now how people take this is on them. This is on you guys. Okay, that's not on her. She's just telling them what her experiences are, just like you guys have told your experiences to me. So you treat her as such. And go over, enjoy, and learn a lot about things that we may not know about from somebody who's experienced them firsthand. Owisa, can you tell us one more time the name of your channel and where and where else they could find you?
That's YouTube. Northwest Native Tracker is the name of my channel. I also have a GoFundMe up to help me create some funds so that I can get an RV and or a pop-up camper so I can go down into the redwoods and down into the sequoias and up into Washington to continue to document all the different lore sites I was taken to as a child and introduced to.
Fantastic. And what's the name of the GoFundMe?
To find it, all you have to do is search Fund Northwest, one word, Native Trackers Bigfoot Expeditions.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much for coming on. And guys, go ahead and take care of her. If you want to get perspective from somebody who has deep roots within the country now that we now call home, then I would suggest to go ahead and take, if you got $5, go ahead and throw it her way so she can do that and we can learn a little bit more. So every bit that we can. And I want to thank you so much, Owisa, for coming on today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Great. No problem. I'm gonna have you back on for sure. We're just touching the surface of it. I'm gonna be thinking about this one for quite a while.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
And next time I'll be prepared and let my participants, my subscribers know.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's not a live. This is not a live. This is a pre-record. This is going to come up as a regular show. So there's nobody chatting on the side. It's just me and you right now. That's all it is. It's just me and you. And
awesome.
and eventually, whenever we get, you will get your video up. That way we can see you a little bit. I can read your facial expressions, which would be nice. That way I can actually maybe have other questions.
Right. I got a friend who's coming into town next month to help me move some stuff. So hopefully you'll be able to walk me through how to fix my camera issue on this thing. I've tried a couple of settings and it just won't do it for some reason.
Yeah, well, we're here and it worked out pretty well. I'm very happy about it. It sounds like it's raining in the background where you are. Is it raining?
Yeah, it's starting to sprinkle.
Starting to sprinkle. No, it sounds like a downpour. It must be some fuzz on your line. Don't worry about it. It was perfectly fine when you talked. It sounded great. And one more time, thank you so much, Owisa, for coming on. I hope to continue to see your presence over on the live chat. And guys, I really appreciated that. Thank you so very much one more time. And remember, we are the eye. We are aware. Love you all. And have yourself a wonderful day, night, or wherever you're reaching this. Bye. You have been watching the Eye of Jupiter podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of your favorite interviews. And remember, we are the Eye, and we are aware.